afternoon and welcome to State NewsFile. I'm Jordan Bay. Jake Foster will have a look at sports coming up. But first, let's check in with Mason DePatie and the weather. Mason, what's it looking like out there?
Jordan, it's cooling off a little bit, but it's pretty nice still. We reached a high of 11 degrees, which we can't complain about. It's about our seasonal average. We were actually fighting a 60% chance of showers, so we're looking dry now, so that's great. And last year was only 7, and in 1990, it was -14, so we're looking way better than that. But 1889 holds the record for the hottest temperature at +22. I wish I was there. Back to you, Jordan.
Well, I'm glad things are starting to warm up. A bit come playoff time, but it's not just the NHL playoffs. It is a great time to be a sports fan right now.
It really is, Jordan. This week has been absolutely amazing. Monday, you had the NCAA championship. Today, you got playoff hockey starting. You got the Masters starting tomorrow, the Flames games tomorrow. The NCAA Frozen Four kicks off today. It's just a wonderful time to be a sports fan.
Well, we'll talk about a lot of that coming up, but first, here's a look at today's top stories. Advanced polling stations for Alberta's provincial election are now open across the city, including here at SAIT and the University of Calgary. It was at the university that 5 MLA candidates from Calgary Varsity and Calgary Elbow sat down there for a debate ranging from everything from the economy to education. Cindy Leddick was there.
Election day is approaching quickly and the candidates are vying for your votes. Young people are especially in their target audience. A crowd of U of C students showed up at Mac Hall this week hoping to hear what the parties had to say and how that might help them make up their minds.
For students, I think the choice couldn't be clearer. I mean, Rachel Notley has proven that she shares the priorities and values of Albertans and is supportive of healthcare, education, and in particular post-secondary education.
Spending in and for universities was definitely a hot topic, but some hope the debate would have touched on more than just money.
Younger people care a lot more about social issues than, let's say, my parents' or grandparents' generation. So the fact that it wasn't really brought up a lot tonight was a little disappointing. I think it would have been a great way for the parties to connect with university students.
Students make up a large part of the voters in our province, and Elections Alberta has been using social media to reach out to them. Twitter even came up with a voting emoji that automatically attaches to posts with the hashtag #ABVote. Advanced polling stations on campuses have certainly made it easier for students to cast their ballot, but no matter how convenient, some still believe nothing will change no matter who they vote for. But Frank Finley disagrees.
Everything is political, including the funding for our post-secondary institutions. And so when I hear my friends or somebody I know say that, I say, well, actually, it will make a difference.
Advanced polling stations will remain open until Saturday night, and the general election day in Alberta is April 16th. For State NewsFile, I'm Cindy Leddick.
Been shot following a shooting in the northeast of Calgary. Yesterday at around 6:30 p.m., a man was shot multiple times in the community of Temple in the northeast. He was rushed to Foothills Hospital in life-threatening condition, but has since been updated to stable condition. The suspects were caught later by Calgary police, where a long rifle was found in the vehicle the suspects were in. No charges have been laid as of this time. Calgarians are fired up about the Flames starting their playoff season. Calgary is a day away from the start of the Red Mile, and businesses all along 17th Ave have their Flames flags and banners hung up, welcoming fans. The last Red Mile was in 2017, but Vanessa Arate reports on why people have much higher expectations for this Red Mile.
It's beginning to look a lot like Red Mile, and even though playoffs haven't officially started, this year feels a little different for many Calgarians. Red Mile celebrations didn't feel as authentic back in 2007 when the Flames made it to the playoffs but got swept by the Anaheim Ducks. But this year, Flames fans want to celebrate a fiery season and get Calgary's economy off their minds.
It's just fun. Everyone in the city pulling together, rooting for something exciting. In 2004 was so much fun, and I think with, the tough economic situation in the city in the last couple of years, I think this is perfect timing for us.
The Flames kick off their playoff season tomorrow, and as the Red Mile starts, construction will stop. Mayor Nenshi has postponed all construction on 17th Ave while the Flames remain in the playoffs or until they win the Stanley Cup.
I think if we were still doing the construction upward towards 9th Street, I think it would really damper the vibe of Red Mile. I mean, people want to be able to come down here, know where they are, where they can park, and not worry about the construction.
Playoffs can go all the way into June, and some businesses are hoping that if that's the case, the construction won't resume until August, or at least until the end of Stampede. For St. Newsfile, I'm Vanessa Arate.
Calgary police are asking for help in a search of a youth believed to be the victim of parental abduction. 12-year-old Zara Ali was traveling from Calgary to Egypt with her father. She was expected to be back in Canada on September of 2018, but she has not come back. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Calgary Police non-emergency line at 403-226-1234. It's a statistic no parent ever wants to think about. Every year, more than 420 children across Canada are treated for window fall-related injuries. But the City of Calgary has teamed up with members from the Alberta Children's Hospital to work on bringing this number down. Andrea Ferrari joins us live from Crescent Heights. Andrea, can you tell us a little bit about what the city hopes to change?
Yes, Jordan. So the city actually started working with the National Research Council back in 2014 to make some changes to the National Building Code, which will affect newer homes being built in years to come.
Every spring, my colleagues at children's hospitals across Canada are alarmed by the number of young children, most under the age of 5, who are treated in our emergency departments after falls from second-story windows.
As the warm weather returns in Calgary, EMS is reminding parents to keep a close watch on their children around windows and balconies. The City of Calgary has been hard at work since 2014 after a reported 15% of trauma patients were children who fell from windows. Since, the city has been working with the National Building Code to keep children safe.
The proposed changes state that the portion of a second-story window that's able to be open must be at least 3 feet from the finished floor. Or the window itself must have a device in place to permanently restrict the opening to no more than 4 inches. The final decision on these proposed changes will be made at the end of May.
On new homes, a safety device will be installed as a guard or limiter to restrict windows opening more than 4 inches. Dr. Simonelli knows firsthand how traumatic these injuries can be for not only children, but their families.
The number one thing I hear in the trauma bay when I'm meeting a family whose child has just fallen from a second-story window is that they are shocked that this could happen in their own home. That a small child could so easily fall from a second-story window was inconceivable to them.
Jordan, this new code will be implemented in June and will be voted upon in June and hopefully be implemented in early 2020. The city also mentioned that people with older homes can buy safety devices for their windows. Back to you, Jordan.
Andrea Ferrari reporting live from Crescent Heights. EMS also suggested moving large furniture away from windows and keeping windows locked when children are present in the home. This winter, Calgary experienced some of the worst frost conditions in over 40 years. Throughout the last 4 months, water systems and bursting pipes all winter long. As Storm Lenny reports, today the City of Calgary provided an update on the frozen systems.
This year, Calgary faced its longest stretch of cold weather in more than 20 years. In February, the city saw more than 10 consecutive days where it was at least -23 or colder. When temperatures reach that low, things can go wrong, especially when it comes to water and piping systems. The pipes may have frozen, but the problem doesn't really start until it warms up and things start to defrost.
Pipes don't start to burst until the temperature goes above the freezing point. So they freeze while the cold snap is on, and then when we get a schnook that blows in, things thaw out. Building air being warmer then travels down the pipe. The building air itself is not inside the pipe, but the surrounding air around the pipe warms it up, starts to thaw out the frozen plug inside the pipe.
City officials have battled 272 cases of frozen water systems this winter, and warming temperatures haven't translated into a complete thaw yet. Frost depth remains at more than 2 meters in some areas. Officials from the City of Calgary are still battling over 20 cases of frozen water systems across the city. Officials are hoping to have these issues resolved by the beginning of May, but only if the weather cooperates.
Yeah, in all the cases we've had so far, it's just frozen. We did have a main that froze. We actually had 5 mains that froze. The one on 9th Avenue that froze was actually split, so the ice actually expanded and split the pipe, and so that was a pretty significant repair we had to make.
Keeping the water flowing is the city's top priority, and warmer temperatures are on the way. For State NewsFile, I'm Storm Lenny.
Those are today's top stories. After the break, we'll have your full forecast, but first, Mason DePatie has a look at what's going on around Calgary this week.
If you're looking for something to do this Friday and playoff hockey isn't your thing, check out Just for Laughs, Sarah Millican. Tickets are just $45, but the laughs are priceless. The Calgary Brain Bee is happening at the UFC's Health Science Building. Live Q&A competitions will test the neuroscience knowledge of high school students around the world. Choo Choo Choose this event. Super Trains is Canada's largest model train show. Featuring all sorts of miniatures and dioramas, this event is perfect for all ages. Haven't you always wanted a monkey? The Western Canadian Pet Industry Trade Expo is taking place at the Big 4 building. Check out the hottest items for your furry one on April 14th. If you're into cars, you've been waiting for this one for a long time. Calgary's International Auto and Truck Show is back on April 17th. The BMO Center will be a garage for hundreds of cars. Take a look at everything from family minivans to the sports cars of your dreams.
Country Hospice Society, creating an atmosphere of care and dignity for those we serve.
Bros, cabs are here in 45.
Oh, screw that, man. I'll drive.
You sure, man? You look pretty drunk. Man, just let him drive. All right, he can drive. Let's go then.
I don't know if I should drive today, guys.
Now, Mason, might be a little chillier today, but things are starting to warm up and kind of right in time for the Masters.
That's right. It's golf season, and down in Augusta, it is so nice. Were you watching it all today?
I was. It was the par 3 contest. Oh, my goodness. All I could do was wish I was there.
Yeah, and the weather here, nothing to scoff at. Let's take a look outside. And as you can see, it was a bit of a cloudy day today, but we reached a pretty nice high for this time of year. And I'm going to have all that and more coming right now. And if you take a look at the east side of Canada, west side, sorry. Vancouver is experiencing very Vancouver-esque weather. It's going to be rainy all week long. All of BC's actually has heavy rains right now. And as we push into the mountains, it's flurry activity there. So if you're looking to get the last bit of skiing in, good news for you. Edmonton, rainy as well. You know what they say? April showers bring May flowers, so don't get too disappointed. And along Saskatchewan, we are at 4 degrees, which is a little below seasonal average, and it's going to hover in the low single digits all week long. The same goes for Winnipeg. They're copying Regina's weather. Now on the other side of Canada, Toronto is a bit nicer, sitting at 8 degrees. We have Montreal with the sun kind of peeking through the clouds there, and Halifax and St. John's, very snowy. That Atlantic weather is no joke, and if that snow bums you out, let's take a look at some of my favorite resorts.
Barbados is king of the resorts today, sitting at 29 degrees. If you're trying to get a suntan at the other resorts, bad news for you because most of them are pretty cloudy. Orlando and Cancun are enjoying some moderate temps though. If you gambled on a trip to Vegas, tough luck as it's the coolest, sitting at 14 degrees.
And back in our lovely city, we reached a high of 11 degrees, right on seasonal average. We did battle through a chance of showers and we had a bit of an easterly wind. And tomorrow, it's going to be cloudy with another chance of showers here. Looking at the map,
You can see that all of Alberta is under heavy cloud cover right now, and that flurry activity in the mountains is going to push over towards Edmonton. But of course, those spring temperatures, lots of convection going on, that's going to turn into our first thunderstorm of the year. That's right. And with that's going to be, Twitter's going to be covered in lightning photos, which means lightning is spelled L-I-G-H-T-N-I-N-G. There isn't the E in there, just for all of you making those posts. And our 5-day forecast here. That's right, tomorrow a 50-50 chance of showers. So if you're a gambling man like me, you're going to leave that coat at home. The sun is going to dissolve those clouds on Friday, and it's a plus 12 degrees on Saturday there. It's going to be nice to maybe go out, experience the Red Mile. And Sunday, also nothing to scoff at. Now, let's take a look at the ski resorts. Sunshine Village doesn't actually have any sunshine. It's getting a skiff of snow, which is good news for those trying to get in one last ski trip for the year. All the lifts are still open. Mount Norquay is also getting some fresh powder and currently has a base of 89 centimeters. Conditions are variable, so watch out for roots, rocks, or anything that'll send you for a topple. Lake Louise got 2 centimeters of the white stuff yesterday to bring up the base to 166 centimeters. All the lifts are open and 127 out of the 145 runs are open. If conditions aren't good enough to ski, you can always grab a canoe. The Kiska is chilly today, sitting at -8. It has 71 groomed runs open. The last snow on the mountain fell on April 7th. Marmot Basin is the only sunny ski resort today, but it's only -6. Every lift is open and the runs are packed powder. If you are trying to get in one last ski trip for the year, I do it quickly because the big melt is coming.
While April might mean spring for most people, there's one thing that that I think of when I think of April. Do you hear that buzzing?
I do. I wouldn't worry too much about it. It's probably just the Flames fans absolutely buzzing to be back in the playoffs.
Oh.
That's right, playoff hockey is back, and the Calgary Flames will kick off what will hopefully be a lengthy playoff run tomorrow night. They take on the Colorado Avalanche, and as Danica Ferris reports, they're not taking anything lightly.
So this time of year, what's everybody trying to do? To win the Stanley Cup. Hard. But we're excited about the opportunity.
Tomorrow night, the Saddle Dome will be packed to the roof with over 19,000 fans in the Sea of Red. But today, the Flames are focused on tightening things up before they drop the puck with the Colorado Avalanche. For 8 regulars in the Flames lineup, this will be their first taste of playoff action, and the 20-man roster has a combined 254 games of playoff experience. 100 of those belong to James Neal.
He's been able to speak up, share some of his experiences, and the guys are all ears, so he's been excellent.
By comparison, the Avalanche boast 413 combined games in the playoffs, but as head coach Bill Peters has said, you have to get experience to have experience. So the Flames are laser focused on icing the best version of their team.
Well, you try and play the same way with confidence and as an individual, as a team, and that's how we had success all year, so that's how we're going to have success in playoffs.
Both the Flames and the Avalanche will rely heavily on their top lines, who had career years and led their teams offensively. But the Flames trio of Sean Monahan, Johnny Gaudreau, and Elias Lindholm will look to get that spark back as they cooled off in the final 2 months of the regular season.
It's true. It's a new season. It's a fresh start, and everyone's going to step up to the occasions.
Though Peters wouldn't confirm it, the assumption is that Mike Smith will get the nod in net, and the veteran goaltender is ready to return to the postseason for the first time in 7 years.
Yeah, I think I finished the season off on a good note. I feel, confident in my game right now. So if I get a chance to get in there, I want to, be the best that I can be.
Smith will have his work cut out for him as he stares down a top line that includes Nathan McKinnon, Gabriel Landeskog, and Mikko Rantanen, who may be injured to start the series. The Colorado Avalanche will skate in Denver tomorrow morning before flying to Calgary in the afternoon. At that time, we'll have a better idea of whether or not Mikko Rantanen will be a part of that deadly top line for the Avs. Game 1 puck drop goes 8 o'clock at the Saddle Dome. For State NewsFile, I'm Danica Ferris.
The Calgary Flames aren't the only Calgary hockey team in the playoffs. The Hitmen are down 2-0 into the series heading into last night's game against the Oil Kings. They were looking for a spark to get them back in the series. The Hitmen wanted to start off physical right off the bat as a huge hit courtesy of Edler. Stellick wants in on the action, so he gets physically involved. still in the first now. Vangiafello circles with the puck and he'll feed Zach Russell in front of the net. The Calgary native picks up his first of the playoffs. Now we're going to cut ahead to the third. Hitman already on the man advantage, and Falk will get tripped to make it 5-on-3 for the Hitmen. Falk now again on the man advantage, circles, shoots, and he has his shot tipped by Captain Kostelic. That would mean overtime in this one. And in the extra frame, it didn't take long. Just a few seconds in, the Oil Kings are pressing, and Wyatt McLeod will sneak into a shot from the point to give the Oil Kings a 3-0 series lead as they take Game 3 2-1. Hitmen are going into tonight, Game 4, and it's all about desperation to keep their season alive. That game goes tonight, 7 o'clock at the Saddle Dome. Dwayne Wade announced his retirement at the beginning of the season, and this year has been his farewell tour. Last night, that tour made its final stop in Miami as Dwayne Wade and the Heat were hosting the 76ers. Pre-game, Wade was showing appreciation for the Miami faithful, and he was ready to get to work early in the first. Watch that 1-step, 2-step, 3-step, splash! That's nice. That's real nice. Fast forward to the fourth where Wade wasn't done. He takes over now, knocking down the deep ball. Oh, hey, wait, how many points was that? Oh, it was 3. It was 3. The pull-up on the break now. Wade hits it, banks it in. Now, I don't think he called bank, but it's his last game in Miami, so we'll give it to him. Chris Bosch cheering on his boy. Now Wade, Father Prime, not done yet. Step back 3. Ooh, that's wet. That's wet. Wade knocking that one down right in front of his wife. She's fired up. Heat would go on to win this one 122-99. Dwayne Wade putting on a show with 30 points in his last game on the Heat court. Wade will play his final game tonight in Brooklyn. Now, the retirement of Father Prime is heartbreaking for people around the world. Budweiser did an amazing tribute video for Wade, and if you haven't seen it yet, I suggest you take a peek. It's amazing. Now, the Toronto Raptors were taking on the Timberwolves. Kyle Lowry and Serge Ibaka both resting for the playoffs. And with those players out, Montreal native Chris Boucher was going to see a lot more floor time, and he took advantage of the opportunity. Red Van Vliet's Pascal Siakam getting ready to go early. Boucher takes the pass from Meeks, and he'll throw down the two-handed flush. A little later on in the second, Boucher showing he can do it on the backside too, playing a little bit of defense. He's got the rejection and the steal, and he will take this one all the way down to the rack. Boucher had 11 in the first half. Now we go ahead to the fourth quarter. Miller misses the hook shot. Who's there on the rebound but Boucher? He had the best night of his young career, putting up 15 points as the Raps down the Wolves 120-100. Kawhi Leonard was seeing limited floor time, but still put up 20 points and 6 rebounds in just 24 minutes. And Boucher, he had 15 points, but maybe the most impressive stat here was the fact that the 26-year-old had 13 rebounds. Raptors will finish second in the Eastern Conference with a record of 58-24. Now heading into playoff, the Raptors are healthy, confident, and they're feeling ready. But it's the last day of the NBA regular season, and there's still 2 teams fighting for that last playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. The only question left is, who will be the first-round opponent for the Raptors? Our NBA insider, Etiel Monroy, joins us live from the newsroom. Etiel, we're just 3 days away from the NBA playoffs. What are some potential scenarios for the Raptors here?
Well, Jake, one thing's for sure. The Raptors want to avoid the Pistons in the first round, considering Detroit is led by former Toronto head coach Dwayne Casey. And don't forget, the Raptors were swept by the Pistons this season. As it currently stands, the Raptors will face my home team, the Orlando Magic. And I don't know if that's a good thing, Jake. Things might get chippy in the newsroom, but let's face it, Toronto is the heavy favorite in this scenario. Now, the next scenario is what Toronto wants to avoid. The Pistons can steal the 7th spot from Orlando with the win against the Knicks, but they need Charlotte to beat Orlando. Jake, I have the Pistons winning tonight, but I do think Orlando will win in hopes of avoiding Toronto if the Nets lose, which brings me to the last scenario. If the Nets lose against Miami and Orlando pulls through against Charlotte, then we'll see Brooklyn versus Toronto in the first round. Jake, if the current standings don't move, this is what the bracket looks like. I really don't know who will come out of the East between Milwaukee and Toronto, but this is my hot take of the day. I do have the Rockets coming out of the West for the first time since 1995. That's right, Jake. So if the Raptors can avoid the Pistons in the first round, I think they're in good shape in reaching the NBA Finals for the first time. Now, who do you got going to the finals, Jake?
Well, out of the Eastern Conference, my heart's telling me Toronto, but my brain's telling me Milwaukee. And then when I look at the Western Conference, you're a madman for taking Houston. If you've watched basketball for the past 4 years, you'll know that it's going to be the Golden State Warriors coming out of that. So I'm predicting a Golden State Milwaukee Bucks final. ETL Monroy reporting live from the newsroom. The Toronto Blue Jays were in Boston looking to rain on the Red Sox parade. The Red Sox were raising their World Series banner and having their ring ceremony pregame. But we'll pick things up here in the top of the third. Jays down 2-0, tying run on first. Freddie Galvis gets a good cut on the Chris Sale pitch. That one was one of the 2 runs that would tie this up. Top of the fourth now. Richard Arena laying down the bunt with 2 strikes already. That bunt would advance the runners into scoring position. The dugout showing some love for the small ball. Jays showing some aggression now in the form of Lourdes Gurriel, who takes the off from third base and steals home off a wild pitch from Chris Sale. Look at those wheels. This one would put the Jays up by 2, and they would hold on to that lead. As the Jays spoil the Red Sox celebrations, they beat the defending champs 7-5. Now, Blue Jays have been having a tough season so far, boasting a record of 4-8. But nobody was really expecting much this season since the Jays lost a handful of starters, and now they're under new management. Jays have the day off, but will continue their series against Boston tomorrow. Jordy, that is a look of sports. There is a lot going on right now. It is an exciting time.
It is an exciting time. I just can't wait for the playoffs. They start tonight. What do you see coming out of the NHL playoffs?
Man, you never know. I think it's going to be a huge disappointment if Tampa cannot get it done this year. They've been so close over the past years, and then this year, 128 points. I feel like they've got to get it done or they're never going to.
Man, you thought ET had a hot take? I think Tampa's out in round 2 to Boston.
You know what? If anyone's going to beat the Lightning, I'm going to say it's going to be Boston.
It's going to be the Bruins.
It's going to be Boston.
We're going to take a short break, but we'll be right back.
There are hundreds of people living on Calgary streets despite unpredictable weather conditions. The Drop-In Center provides all the services they need to upgrade their life and make it a little better. They provide fresh cooked meals, medical care, and a warm place to stay. The Calgary Drop-In Center is always available to help people in need get back on their feet and start a new and improved life. Contact or donate today at calgarydropin.com.
This is Jackson, and this is Scout. And both of these dogs were once rescue animals. The only reason why was because of their previous owners, not the dogs. At the Cochrane and Area Humane Society, we find good animals, good homes, from their large dog training facilities to the quiet, relaxing cat rooms. You'll have great spaces to meet and learn about the animals that most interest you. Come check out Cochrane and Area Humane Society today. It's just off Griffin Road.
Well, I've always been really fascinated by space. I don't know you guys, but for the first time ever, scientists have been able to photograph a black hole. That's right. Using data from 8 massive radio telescopes around the world, astronomers were able to capture the picture of the hole. Scientists have used the massive observation system to hear 2 black holes merging together into one. The black hole is called M87, not Sidney Crosby. It is around 53 million light years away. For reference, 1 light year is 9.5 trillion kilometers, and the black hole is 6 billion times the mass of the sun. That's kind of scary when you think about those numbers. Those are some big numbers.
Yeah, and did it take like 6 years to get that photo beamed back? My girlfriend complains when I take like 2 minutes to send her a text.
We both know you don't have a girlfriend.
And taking a look at the 5-day, you can see that we're going to have some showers tomorrow. That's about that 50-50 chance, like I said earlier. That sun's going to start to peek out just as that Roughnecks games come on, and then it's Red Mile Saturday.
Well, I can't wait for the playoffs. For all of us here at St. NewsFile, thank you so much for joining us. Have a good day.